I've been in the business like 16, 17 years. That's the first time I was ever legitimately knocked out.
What's going on, wrestling fans? It is I, Steve-O, and welcome to Tank Out right here on Wrestling News Co. On today's edition, I am talking to a doctor. That's right, Dr. Harvey Wippleman. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. If people don't, can you see that?
You know, I can see it. Hall of Famer. Living in the Hall of Fame.
That's my proudest accomplishment so far, besides making a living. It's being in the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. So,
you got the shirt on, too.
Yeah, I know we were fixing to do this, so I wanted to make sure I put on something appropriate. And, so here we are, man. I'm glad to be here with you.
Yeah, me too. And I was informed that chicken wings and alcohol will be taken in while we do this, and I am A-okay with that, man, because we're talking about the fun times, the old days. But first, what is and where is the strangest place you've ever been involved with a wrestling match?
Boy, that's a good question. Let me think. Now, I mean, we've had it in used car lots, parking lots, of course, years ago. Gosh, I mean, I don't know if that's so much per se strange, but it's not. You know what I mean?
They still have those though today. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll give you a quick example. I talked to the headbangers. They told me they showed up in a building in Kentucky, and on the outside of the building it said "Long live the KKK." So that was strange to them. You know what I mean? Like that's what we're talking about.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
yeah, if I'd have showed up at that, I'd have left, because to me the KKK is the lowest of the low.
Oh yeah, man. And Jake the Snake told me he wrestled at a cockfighting ring, and they were giving out shotguns in the intermission. So we've talked about some strange places. So what do you got for me, Doctor?
Gosh, yeah. I mean, used car lots, of course, but that, compared to what you just told me, that pales in comparison. Gosh, I don't know. I've been pretty fortunate, or just jaded, I guess. I've been mostly in, your typical high school gymnasiums and grade school gymnasiums, outdoor events. Like I said, used car lots. I don't think I've ever been any place, that unusual. I've wrestled in fairs, festivals, or whatnot, but I guess those guys got me beat on that. I've never really, I guess the most unusual, is years and years ago, I remember some people, it was a small organization here in the area. They paid the organization to have matches for their kids' birthday party. Everybody had matches there. So, I mean, done that. I've had them at amusement parks, Liberty Land up in Memphis, which ain't there anymore. But when it was, we wrestled there at Liberty Land. So, I mean, it's not nothing that nobody's going to light up the internet with. Sorry, I was.
Hey, listen, I love it. That sometimes people are lucky and you don't have to wrestle or change in a U-Haul with a heater in front of their crotch. I've heard that story. Or a family of 5 with their dog just in the front row. Heard that story. So there's been plenty of crazy stories. So good for you, though, that you didn't have to do those crazy things. You know what I mean? You shouldn't be don't be ashamed of your answer. Be happy that you didn't have to answer something crazy.
Oh, good, because I was okay.
Oh, man. But my first introduction to you is WrestleMania 8. When I was watching this as a child and I'm enjoying it, and I see this finish of Hulk Hogan and Sid Justice happen, and you're the manager of Sid Justice, can you explain to me what exactly happened that day?
Well, it's funny. A lot of people ask me this question, as if something got screwed up, or somebody wasn't on time, or something didn't go as planned. Untrue. Every single thing that took place in that match went down exactly as it was supposed to. There's a lot of tall tales or rumors or speculation that, and I'm not even going to name any names because none of it's true. So-and-so was late. So-and-so didn't get there on time. Or this happened. That untrue. Every single thing that happened for a reason. And that's just, I know it's sometimes fantasies or speculation is more fun to talk about than the truth. But the truth is the truth, and it's very mundane. But that's the way it is. There was no issues.
Wow, you kind of blew my mind because as long as I can remember, people put the blame on Papa Shango, saying like, "Oh, he was late to run to the ring, so that's why Sid had to kick out of the leg drop, and you came in and the referee bumped." Oh, so everything happened for a reason. So I'm guessing because Hogan's leaving, they're thinking Sid Justice is going to become like the new, I guess, face of the WWE.
That I don't know because honestly, I never was privy to the future plans or whatever. I just from the day I broke in the business in 1979 till now, all I want to know is what am I supposed to do? What time am I supposed to be there? What time can I leave? That's it. I don't get involved. You know why? Because there's so many people that have put out things on the internet before the internet was a thing, dirt sheets or whatever, tell things to the girls and try to get in with them, whatever. I don't ever want to be the one getting the blame for that. So if I don't know it, I can't get in trouble. And it's, I'm funny that way. Like I don't, not only just that, like I never stay at the same hotel if I can help it with everybody else. I stay off by myself somewhere. So if something goes down, oh, there was a big fight in the lobby, or, some female claims that she was groped or whatever. Oh, I was there. Well, I can show you my receipt. I wasn't there. That they can't, because here's the thing. If something goes down in a bar, restaurant, lobby, hotel, whatever, there could be 10 people involved or one person involved. I could be sitting off in the corner reading the Bible, but when they start naming names, I was there. This Bruno. If Bruno ain't there, Bruno can't be mentioned and put in the situation. So that's why, I know I just went around the block to walk across the street. But that's why I don't try to know nothing. I just try to do my job, take what I'm given, do what I'm told to the best of my ability, and just so I don't know what plans were. I mean, obviously, there was plans for Sid. They didn't just put him out there just because there's nobody else to put in a position. Yeah. He was obviously more than qualified. I mean, in his prime, I defy anybody to prove me wrong that he had the best look possibly in the history of the business,
I'll even say I think if people could look past in the past, I feel like invented like the cool thing of the fist bump, because he would come down in like the early 90s and he would do the fist bump to the crowd. I'm like, usually it's a high five, and then he's introducing this thing, and I don't know what it was. As a child, I didn't know that even existed, but I feel like Sid invented it in my brain, so I'm gonna accept that.
That I don't know. The first person that ever fist bumped me in my life was Shane McMahon.
Shane McMahon.
So I thought he invented it. I don't know. I mean, it could be. I know, as far as I know, and I know somebody will probably send comments to you that I'm wrong, but as far as I know, Sid invented the power bomb.
I've heard that.
When we were in Alabama together I'm the world's worst at years. It was 85, maybe 86. I can't remember. He was doing the Lord Humongous with the hockey mask and whatever. And I remember we were traveling together, and when we first got there, Bob Armstrong gave him the finishing move of the Shenanamaki, which is the Cobra Clutch. Sergeant Slaughter did. But Sid wanted to do a power move instead of just a hold. So he decided he's going to do something similar to the piledriver, but he swings the guy up, lands on his shoulders and back with him. So, and again, so everybody, calm down. If I'm wrong, you're going to tell me, I invented it. Okay, that's great. As far as I know, the first person I ever seen do it, and he come up with it, was Sid. So if somebody else did it before him, at that time, Sid hadn't been anywhere but Memphis and Alabama. He hadn't been in Japan or nowhere else. So if somebody else did it elsewhere, Sid didn't know about it. Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, he came up with it. That makes sense.
Yeah, no, it's the first time I've ever actually thought of someone saying it's just a version, like someone's like, I have a piledriver, but instead of dropping them down on their head, I'm going to lift them up and drop them on their back. And you're like, you don't even think, in my brain, I never even thought that the piledriver and the powerbomb could be variations of each other. But
yeah, Sid said that. I'll give Sid nothing but credit for that. So as far as I know, at least as far as me and him know, he invented it. And again, if it was done already somewhere else, Sid didn't know about it. So in all honesty, he did come up with it, even if it was done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I love Sid, so I'll accept anything, because again, if it's true, that's awesome. It's not, well, too bad. We'll say it's true here. because I love Sid, and I think he's one of the best going. And it's so weird because when he would be in the WWE randomly, he'd pop in and out, in and out. He was always in the world title picture, always. It would never was always going down the ranks. Like he was always in the championship run, though. One of the things I remember about you too is Kamala. You're kind of the voice of Kamala in the WWE. And, you had the Warlord, you had other different people with you, but Kamala is a whole different story. How do you get paired with Kamala and Kimchi? Like, how does this pairing? Because you've obviously been doing work already, but now here you are, the handler of Kamala, which leads into Undertaker storylines, which leads into Giant Gonzalez. It keeps going and going. So how's it start?
Well, gosh, I'm just, that I was a good talker, still am. That was that and my small size, which made the person I was representing look that much bigger. So that was part of it. And don't forget, the time I got to the WWE, I'd already been in business 10 years.
Right.
So it wasn't like I was like these guys now, which nothing against them, but they don't have the luxury or the training on the job that I had, being in umpteen territories, mainly Memphis, but a lot of other places before I got to New York. So basically, it started 10 years before I ever got there. So they didn't have to lay things out for me. All they had to say was, okay, Kamala's wrestling so-and-so next week. Go do a promo. That was it. I didn't get instructions. They might have just given me a little bit. Make sure you stress the fact that it's a casket match or, whatever.
Yeah.
But they didn't say this, say this. They knew I didn't have to have that. Me, and I'm not putting myself on a level of Bobby Heenan or Jim Cornette. Once again, everybody, leave your keyboards alone. I'm saying guys like us that had been in many territories for years and years didn't need to have everything laid out for us like a script. We knew how to get our point across. And I just mentioned Jim Cornette and Bobby Heenan because I'm going to tell you right now, those guys are leaps and bounds better than me in their own way in a lot of ways. And to me, those were the two best talking managers there ever was in the business, in my personal opinion.
No, I agree. I 100% agree. And then so after with Kamala, Giant Gonzalez shows up. What's it like working with Giant Gonzalez? Do you have any good Giant Gonzalez stories? Because for me, he shows up the 1993 Royal Rumble and he beats the crap out of Undertaker. And that was like unheard of at the time on television. And you're there side by side. This is all happening because of what happened to Kamala in the casket match at Survivor Series 92.
Right.
So what is it like working with Giant Gonzalez?
I'll tell you what, it was fantastic. I loved him as a person. I mean, it broke my heart when he passed away. But I mean, I knew it was inevitable. He was in very, very poor health. We stayed in touch up until I guess he no longer could even communicate. He was a tremendous guy. We got along so well. I mean, we didn't have one crossword in the entire, I was a year, maybe. I was with him a year and a half. I'm not sure. And that's not one crossword. I mean, I did all the driving. We had to rent Cadillac.
I was just going to ask you, how the hell do you travel with him?
Yeah, well, he explained that to me. Excuse me. We couldn't rent a van because the ceiling wasn't high enough. Okay. Like I think when Andre was around, they had a special van for him with a raised ceiling, a roof, whatever you want to call it. But, we didn't have that for Gonzalez. And the only vehicle the seat would go back far enough because he learned that from experience in his previous travels, was a Cadillac. I can't remember, Coupe de Ville or whatever, I can't remember, but a certain Cadillac, I had to reserve one everywhere we went because he could not function in another vehicle. I guess the link in the seat wouldn't go back far enough, or SUVs or whatever. So of course I did all the driving, which I didn't mind. And we had a great time. We did Regis and Kathy Lee one day in New York City, which was great. I mean, he wasn't the most talented performer in the ring, but he wasn't so much a wrestler, so to speak, as a attraction. So as an attraction, it's hard to beat a guy like that. Look at him. You want to know a funny story? We were doing a double shot in Nova Scotia back in, I think it was like 1993 or something. And Jack Tunney had a guy with a van, big van, so Gonzalez could sit in that one. It wasn't like a minivan you rented Hertz or whatever.
Yeah.
It was bringing us between, I can't remember, just for example, Moncton and Halifax or something. And it was like one show was at 3 in the afternoon or whatever, the next show was at evening. So Jack Tunney had a van bringing us all from town A to town B. So, well, they had like several vans. Couldn't send everybody in one van,
Yeah.
But in our van, it was me, Gonzalez, Brooklyn Brawler, and Jim Duggan. Well, Gonzalez, it was hard for him to take off that big outfit with the fur.
Yeah.
So he just left the outfit on in the van. And then, Jack Tunney had sandwiches in there for us or whatever. So we're driving through Canada, up there where, in the Maritimes. And Duggan says, hey, he says to the driver, let's pull over and let's send Gonzalez up that hill up there. And Nick started talking about letting him just come running down with his arms. Come out or something. I said, hell no, Jim, one of these damn Canadians coming back from Moose, I was going to kill him.
No kidding. Yeah. Oh, my God, dude. Well, that's hilarious that he's driving around wearing that suit, too, because, I was going to ask you about that, too, because, some people look at it and go, what in the world? And other people are like, I'm a child, so I look at it and I see muscles, I see hair. As an adult, I see airbrush muscles and fake hair. Like, when you're an adult, you see something different as a child, everything. So seeing that outfit, you're like, oh my God, as a child, this is scary. As an adult, you're like, this is hilarious. But I loved it so much. He will always be one of my favorites who beat the crap out of Undertaker. And especially your work too. And that story, oh my God. Because you think about it, traveling on an airplane or in a bus or in a van, like this is not a normal, even today's world doesn't have accommodations for someone that tall.
Exactly. So it was definitely interesting, but he was just a great guy. I didn't mind, he didn't give me any problems. Was it difficult at times? Yeah, but not because of his attitude, because of the type of person he was. It's because he was basically 8 feet tall. I mean, there's no way around that, what I mean?
Yeah, there's a video that always pops up of you and him together, and it starts on a tight shot of him, and it zooms out very slowly as you can hear you talking in the background, and eventually it just shows that how tall he is compared to you. Now, at any point while this is being filmed, any of these vignettes, is he standing on something, or is he always that taller than you?
He's legit right at 8 feet tall. I guess once he had his boots on, he probably was 8 feet tall. I mean, the boots didn't have lifts or nothing in them. Don't get me wrong, but whoever you are, you wear boots, it's going to give you another inch, I guess. Because of the stole or whatever. But no, he would never stand on nothing. That's legit. And of course, I'm 6'9". I'm just kidding.
Let's say, wait a second. Wait a minute. I feel like you're fibbing me here, though.
No, I'm 5'7.5". For real.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
He was,
Jesus
Christ, he was the world's worst mathematician, but way big, you know what I mean?
He was a memorable character that we'll never forget, definitely, for the outfit and just for his outlandish ways of beating crap out of Undertaker. Though, I think one of the biggest moments, at least for me as a WWE, long-time fan, is the night you had a tuxedo match against Howard Finkel on an episode of Raw. Very early, too, about 95. So maybe a couple years into the run.
Yeah,
and
it was.
There weren't a lot of big moments on Raw when it first kind of started, but there were Razor Ramon 1-2-3 Kid, and then I believe in my opinion, this is the next big one of you and Howard Finkel having a storyline building to this. Whose idea is it for you to have a feud with Howard Finkel in general? But this moment, how do you feel about it?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. Howard, God bless him, great guy, great guy. And of course, he couldn't wrestle, not that I'm Shawn Michaels, but, I know how to work in the ring with my limited abilities. Howard had zero ability as far as being a performer in the ring. He wasn't supposed to. That wasn't his niche or whatever the word is, his forte. But we got around it real good, and it was, he got a lot of attention on it. It was fun. It wasn't easy. I ain't gonna lie. It's hard to, have a match with somebody that has zero experience. But whose idea it was, I don't know. They just came to me. I guess without being told, I was always rude to him in the ring, give me that microphone, whatever.
Yeah.
And I guess somebody said, hey, that might be an interesting, sideshow, because, you can't just have main event caliber matches. You got to have some entertainment in between. You just can't have, I don't remember who it was at the time, but you can have Shawn Michaels against Bret Hart. You can have Triple H against Undertaker. And then you can't have, Macho Man Randy Savage against Hulk Hogan. Boom, you got to have Bruno against Howard Finkel. So at some point, to even out the situation.
Can't give it all away, right? You can't give all the good matches away. No,
Right.
I love that match. I love that whole build up too, because it's just the idea. You always get mad at them for not calling you you be like, hey, it's doctor, like doctor. Now, what were you a doctor of? Because randomly when Sid, you did have a bag that had things inside it. As a heel, you obviously have weapons. But what were you a doctor of?
Let me tell you something. I got a BS and an MS and a PhD. Everybody knows what BS is. MS means more of same, and PhD means out, higher and deeper.
Well, there you go. The doctor. I'm not sure there's a college for that, but I believe you can get one online.
Oh, yeah. I went to the School of Hard Knocks. I graduated from the School of Hard Knocks with a summa cum loudmouth.
Oh, my. As a manager, though, you do take bumps. And what's the worst injury you've ever sustained in the ring?
I can tell you right now, and it's funny. From the guy I just told you was one of the greatest guys I knew, Giant Gonzalez. SummerSlam 94, when Paul Bear made his return at SummerSlam when Gonzalez was wrestling Undertaker. Paul Bear came running out of the back, hit me, took the urn back away from me that we stole from Undertaker.
Yeah.
And Gonzalez ended up losing the match. Well, after the match, Gonzalez was fussing at me in the ring. You no good. You let him down a choke slam. Up, down. I mean, he's 8 foot tall, like legit, right at it. Now, picture his arm way up in the air, picking me up. I'm not doing it. It's got to be like 10 feet, maybe 11 feet up in the air. And like I said, he wasn't the best performer in the ring. That's the first time. At that time, I had been in the business. He's 79, 89. I'd been in the business like 16, 17 years. That's the first time I was ever legitimately knocked out. I mean, legit. I don't mean pretend to be or, I was kind of knocked. No, legitimately knocked out.
Wow.
I mean, you remember years ago, I'm sure you're quite a bit younger than me, but I'm sure you remember flash bulbs, people taking pictures of the camera. Yeah. That's what I was like seeing, that thing you should see when the flashing. I mean, I couldn't focus. All I could see was that flash. And this sounds like something on, Fred Flintstone or something, but it's the truth. The Three Stooges, I could hear a phone ring. Not ringing, but like when you call somebody,
Yeah.
like that. And I kept hearing that in my ear, and I had that flashbulb thing. And that was at Palace at Auburn Hills, Michigan. And legit, that was the worst injury I've ever sustained in now 44 years in the business. And I've had little bumps and bruises and, odds and ends things. But as far as in the ring or, as far as it being an active part of a match, yeah, that was absolutely the worst. It was scary. And he didn't mean it. That's what I'm saying. He's one of my best friends. And it's funny to show you what kind of a great guy Vince McMahon is. The next day in Saginaw, Strongbow said, okay, we're going to do that again for TV. Have you and Gonzalez get in an argument and have him chokeslam me? I said, Chief, no. He killed me last night. I can't do it. Well, that's what they want. I said, let me go talk to Vince. Vince said, if you're not uncomfortable with that, you don't take it. You have something else in mind for a bump? I said, just let him give me a hard turnbuckle. I know how to take that good bounce back out and land on my back or my face or whatever. And that's what we went on and did. Because I wasn't going to allow it to happen again. And to WWE's credit, Vince McMahon's credit, the company's credit, if you're not comfortable with something, they don't make you do it. And I damn sure wasn't comfortable with that. So that was, I didn't even have to think about that. Like earlier, you said, what is your
strangest
place to wrestle? Yeah, I didn't have to think about this one. It was, that was it.
Wow. Yeah, that must be a hard fall from that high up, especially with Giant Gonzalez slamming you down. But everyone has a Hulk Hogan story. Do you have a Hulk Hogan story? Because I've heard some doozies.
Absolutely. I love Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, he's like Elvis Presley or the Beatles as far as in this profession. There's been a lot of great guys, a lot of top guys. A lot of guys drew a lot of money. Nobody is in second place. Nobody. Hulk Hogan is, without a doubt, the guy that drew the most amount of money for the longest period of time. Period. No argument. There's nothing anybody can say to refute that. He is the man. He's the best. This ain't so much a Hulk Hogan story, but it's an observation. This is true. And then I'll tell you a good story about him, too. But when I'm standing in the ring, the bad guy, the villain, always goes first. And I'm in the ring with, I think it was Sid, if I'm not mistaken. It could have been Kamala, but I think it was Sid. Waiting for, we got to the ring and waiting for the music. When Hogan's music hit, the first time it's ever happened, it was like, oh my God. But then every time, when his music hit, the feeling of electricity in the air. I mean, I had hair back then. It made my hair all stand up. No kidding. And the hair on my arms, whatever. It brought your adrenaline up. It had this feeling in you, like, not anxiety, because I wasn't nervous, but you know what I mean? Some kind of, I mean, it was magic. I've never had that feeling before. Now, in all honesty, by the time my dear friend Dwayne, by the time Stone Cold, came along and got in their positions, I was no longer in the ring. I was, behind the scenes positions or whatever. So I was never in the ring when the Rock's music hit or the Stone Cold music hit. So I can't say if it would not have been the same. But being in the ring when Hogan's music hit, I mean, it's a feeling I can't replicate, Now, Hogan's story, we were in Memphis. He was wrestling Sid one night at the old Pyramid Arena downtown Memphis, which ain't there. Well, it's still there, but it's not an arena no more. It's a Bass Pro Shop now, the biggest one in the world, actually. They turned it into that. But Sid was wrestling Hogan. So Hogan got knocked out of the ring by Sid during the match. And Hogan comes over to me. He says, "Blast me, brother, blast me." Okay, damn. He took a bump like Mike Tyson hit. And he says, "Come on, get on me." I got back on him. Boom. He goes, "Your hometown, brother, your hometown, brother." He made me look like $10 million in Memphis. The next, I don't know if it was the next night, but if the next time we worked together was, either the next day or a few days later in Oakland, California. He came rolling out of the ring and he blasted me. He goes, "This ain't Memphis, brother."
Yeah.
Oh, great guy. I mean, I can't think of enough compliments. I mean, I'm crazy about him. Great guy.
I think with Hulk Hogan, too, is I don't think he'll get the credit he deserves for the foundation he built. Because without the success of Hulkamania and WrestleMania and all that, the beginning of it, the foundation, there would be no Rock and Austin, Cena, Batista, Roman Reigns. These people would not exist if the foundation wasn't built sturdy enough to hold the rest.
I agree.
And I don't think people look at that. They just judge him for other things. It's not the wrestling aspect of him. One of the biggest draw in the world. But actually, you know what's behind me? Oh, we got it. Still got it.
I sleep with one every night.
Yeah, you're not kidding, but it's okay. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously though, you know what? Let's put him prominent where you can see his face. But yes, one of the guy who started it all. And if you disagree, you're not looking at facts and you're just being stubborn for whatever stubborn reason.
But I just say, let me tell you, everybody's got their right to their opinion, and everybody's got their right to their favorite. Period. Whether it's in our profession, whether it's music, whether it's your favorite actor, your favorite movie, your favorite thing to eat, that don't make you wrong. If you'd rather watch Bryan Danielson than Hulk Hogan, it don't make you wrong if you'd rather watch Shawn Michaels than Hulk Hogan. It don't, I could name everybody ever been in the business. It's not who you like. You're completely right. If you'd rather watch, me wrestle at all. That's you're right. But as far as who drew the most money for the longest period of time, there's no discussion. Case closed already. Open and shut case.
9 WrestleManias in a row as the main event, if you count 9.
Right.
So we'll count 9 with the whole Yokozuna situation. So technically 9 WrestleManias, beat everybody, man.
Right.
But during like the Attitude Era, it seemed like you transitioned from manager to a referee. What was that about? Was that a conscious decision on your part of, I don't want to take these bumps anymore, or you just a new position for you?
Just a new position. I mean, the business was transitioning to a different style, and I didn't fit in with that. But I was a Memphis referee. My refereeing, and no complaints. I understand. My refereeing just didn't fit in with WWE style refereeing. So I was great at Memphis refereeing, but it was a little different. You can't teach an old dog new tricks at that time. I've been in the business 25 years. I couldn't retrain myself. So that's why the referee didn't last long. But, I get busy doing other things. So that was okay. I refereed for years in Memphis.
Right.
Years. This is a whole different ballgame. Memphis was, I tell you, everything I got, everything I have, everything in this world, it all started and all comes from Memphis. I owe Memphis everything. And I had some great teachers and great people that were good to me. Eddie Marlin, Jerry Jarrett, Christine Jarrett, Tojo Yamamoto, Phil Hickerson, but Akio Sato. But one person that I owe at the very beginning, my whole career to, my whole life to, I say this in all honesty, is Jerry King Lawler. I would die for him. He's one of the 5 people in this world that I would die for. My mom and daddy are gone now, so they would have been on the list, obviously, but they're not here no more. But everything I got, I'm sitting in this house. It's not a mansion, but it's mine. It's paid for. It all started because of Jerry King Lawler. I owe him everything.
Yeah, Jerry King Lawler, I think, is one of those unsung heroes in at least the WWE world, like that bubble. The outside world, if you dive deeper into the history, the Andy Kaufman situation. Right. Because, for instance, celebrities in today's world, sometimes people, not anymore, but for a long time, if a celebrity tried to, get involved with the match or be in wrestling, people kind of were like, oh, get out of my world. But they don't realize, you got to go back to the history of wrestling with Andy Kaufman and Jerry the King Lawler. And then you go to WrestleMania with Mr. T and Cyndi Lauper and Liberace and everyone involved. Right. And then, from there, it kind of disappeared because wrestling needed that kickstart, at least in WWE. Then they were fine by themselves. Always having celebrities involved, but Jerry the King Lawler, Andy Kaufman, I feel like, is the, obviously celebrities were involved in wrestling before, but that is the biggest one on the biggest stage. David Letterman gets involved. SNL, it's not a small thing. This is a huge Americana type of situation. Everyone knew about it. And that's what's so strange that he doesn't get the credit he deserves amongst, I think, some wrestling fans who are new today. Do you feel the same?
Right. No, I get what you're saying, but, let's face it, it was 40 years ago. So some of the people weren't even born yet.
Yeah, but people respect musicians from 40 years ago or movies that were made 40 years ago. What's the difference of Jerry Lawler?
I'll tell you. No, it shouldn't be a difference. Believe me, I'm on your side on this.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with you. I'm more well, why do you think this is the case?
Yeah. Well, because, people are funny. Now that our business is out in the open, let's say, so many things have happened. After that, people are looking at the flavor of the month. What happened just last week? What happened last month? That's what I think. That was the spearhead of everything. I couldn't agree more. And I'm going to tell you, Andy Kaufman, that was before I got my break, so I wasn't managing yet. I wasn't there for that. I was still in Hawaii, I think, at the time. But Andy Kaufman, I give him nothing but credit. Even though I never met him, I have nothing but respect for him. Because he protected that all the way to the end, man. Went to the hospital, did the David Letterman thing, the whole bit. He never cracked. He never exposed. Back then, that was, we didn't talk openly about the business like we do now. But like Jimmy Hart told me when kayfabe first kind of went to the wayside, he said, Bruno, you can't be a one-man army. So let's open up. But back then, by God, people in Memphis wanted to kill Andy Kaufman.
Man, that I think they still see the video pop up. Even Steve Austin did it once. He's like, "This is a bar of soap,"
right?
And what is what you do with it? Like he's just going through the process of just insulting not just you, but your stench, your toilet paper. It was so damn funny.
Yeah.
One of the funny things with you, I remember, is Handsome Harvey on an episode of Raw where you're kind of making fun of Rick Rude because he just left the WWF at the time for WCW. And on one episode of Raw Nitro, Rick Rude was on both times. One had a beard, one had a mustache. But then a week later, you're Handsome Harvey. So what was the feeling, though, when everyone was sitting there watching television and they noticed, holy shit, Rick Rude is on our competition. He's also on our air. And then next week, you're Handsome Harvey kind of making fun of him.
Well, it's funny. Gordon, man, he was doing commentary on Raw that night. I'll give Gordon, God almighty, that was one of the best line ever. Because I guess Rude had already showed up on the other program. Yep. Then he was, I guess ours was taped that week, I guess. So they were doing commentary. Here come Rude. So Gordon says, wow, that guy gets around.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, that was hysterical. So I guess they just put me on there just to show that, hey, it's no big deal. We just found our washed up guy in the back. He can do the same thing as you. And I was like, Rude, great guy, good Christian man. God bless him. Tough guy, good guy. I remember he ran into a friend of mine at the airport one day, and he says, hey, my friend says, hey, did you see Weirdo doing you on Raw? Yeah, little son bitch, you did it better than I did. In other words, he wasn't mad at me or nothing. He just, I was doing what I was told, I managed him a couple times in Memphis. I was never his full-time manager, but I managed him a few times, and we always got along. I think he's a great guy, and I think it's very sad that he left us at such a relatively young age. I mean, what was he, 46 or something like that? Or?
I don't remember, but he was so young, and that's the other thing too. Is with wrestlers, it seemed like at one point it just kept happening. But every time I would tune into a Raw, I would start off with someone passed away, and I'm like, this feels like it's happening so quickly. It's at a rapid rate, and
I know. And like, I lost Eddie Gilbert, who was a dear friend of mine. That was a very hard one for me. Luna of the Stone and me were very close. That tore me up. Like I said, me and Rude, I don't figure out we were best of friends. We were friends. We always got along. That wasn't easy. Road Warrior Mike. That I mean, both of them are gone now. But with Mike, I mean, Joe was my friend too. We always got along. But me and Mike were particularly close. He's been at my house and everything. So that was a hard one. Howard Finkel leaving, was hard. Me and him had a history together. We were friends. He's the first one to call me to come to WWE. He was the one that made the phone call. So, yeah, I've seen a lot of people, Gonzalez, it's just, it's hard. I'm just, a guy that was a second father to me that I loved dearly, Rocky Johnson, who's one of the other people that I owe my career to, and we'll get to all of them before we're through. But Lawler and Rocky Johnson, it tore me up when Rocky left us, tore me up. People want to say what they want about Rocky, say what they want. He was nothing but good to me. I don't know where I'd be in the world if that had been for him and Lawler. Lawler was the main one. I can't never, emphasize that enough. But everything comes together for a reason. And I wouldn't have got with Lawler if it hadn't been for Rocky Johnson. So I owe him a whole lot.
So is that why you gave, if I'm correct, The Rock a place to live when he started off, because his father helped you and you wanted to help his father, which would be helping his son?
Absolutely. That's how me and Dewey got to be playing. I call him Dewey. How we got to be such close friends. Being Rocky. And, Rocky says, remember my son, we were in Hawaii, this, that, and the other. Well, I'm coming in Memphis territory, which at the time I was staying in the rent by the week place in Nashville called the Alamo Plaza Hotel, which ain't even there no more. I said, absolutely, Rocky, send him over. And that's how, we been closest friends ever since. Because of Rocky Johnson. All these things come together, like the song says, cause and effect, chain of events, all the chaos makes perfect sense. And that's the truth.
Okay. The doctor has given me so much knowledge today here. Though The Rock, though, when you first meet him, and obviously as you see how he's grown to be the biggest Hollywood superstar wrestler crossover ever, did you see what he would become? Because everyone always probably thinks, oh, I saw something in him. Like, he's not something in him. He is it now. He is, like, in my brain, the new Hulk Hogan of the guy who's in wrestling but also is in the movies. He is someone everyone in the world recognizes. You put a picture up, that's The Rock.
Absolutely. Well, here's the thing. And if Dwayne was sitting right here next to me, he would call bullshit on me if I said, oh, yeah, the minute I met him, I knew he was going to, bullshit.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not cuss on this.
Of course. Yeah, of course. Fine.
But yeah. But I mean, yeah, he would call bullshit if I said that. I mean, he's a good looking young guy, big, tall, way taller than me, even when he was 14 or whatever. And athletic, good build, good body, smart guy, very intelligent. But I mean, hell, back then, this sounds funny, but Dwayne would tell you, I was the star. He was the guy who was hanging around with me. I was on the strongest TV in the area, Memphis wrestling, and he didn't have no indication of wanting to become a wrestler or whatever at the time. So, no, I didn't see that at that time. No. Now, when he broke into the business and came back and we lived together again, the second time in 95, 96, whatever it was, when he came down to here to the Walls where I live. This is the Memphis Metro. I'm on the Mississippi side, but, here in Memphis. He came to live with me here. And, yeah, I can tell you that he definitely had ability in the ring, charisma, athleticism, ability to work. And again, back then and still very, very intelligent, very intelligent. So now, once again, he would call bullshit on me if I said this. Then I'd look at him then and say, he's going to be the next Hulk Hogan. He's going to be the top guy there ever was, blah, blah, blah. No, I knew he'd do well. I had no idea how well. And let's face it, when he first went to WWE, they saddled him with a gimmick that just didn't work. Yeah. And had to do things that weren't working. When he got to take the reins for himself, and again, using his intelligence and his common sense, that's where he went to the moon. And he stayed there. He's in orbit right now. He'll always be that way. You can't name me hardly any other star in Hollywood that has had no scandals. I think maybe him and George Clooney are the only ones. I can't think of a scandal that Clooney had. Somebody might been on that, but I don't think he has. But no, I can't. I mean, he's very intelligent. He knows how to. It ain't that he knows how to avoid trouble. He don't want trouble. He's a family man. He's got a beautiful family, a beautiful wife. And so I pick out in my teeth.
Okay, it's okay. Something like that.
Yeah, but then when he started taking his own reins, then I'd seen it. He's on his way up. He's in the stratosphere. He's in that rarefied air now, and he's going to stay there forever. But yeah, I refereed most of his matches here in Memphis territory. 90% of them, because I would talk to him in the ring, because nobody else is going to try to help you. Nobody wants to see somebody else succeed. I'm sorry, but there's a very few amount of guys that want to help you succeed. I wanted to help him succeed. I would talk to him. Keep selling, don't sell. Do this, do that. Do this with your punch. Do whatever. I would help him because I wanted to help him. And he didn't want to help. I helped a lot of guys. Some appreciated, some didn't. He did. We were like family. Still are to this day.
I remember story that someone told me about Bruce Pritchard where they said, oh, that eyebrow thing, you should probably stop doing it. It's not going to get over. Because he was a threat to some people who thought, well, this is my spot. I don't want to help you. But you were helping him. I'll move along the way, which is such a, a nice thing to do because his father helped you. You wanted to help him because of his father and just be a nice person in general. But you said he was hanging out with you. You were the star. And technically you are a former, somehow, WWF Women's Champion. Explain how this all goes down, because obviously women's wrestling in today's world is completely different from back then. And how do you become women's champion?
Basically, it's like this here. In a nutshell, Jerry the King Lawler's wife at the time, Stacy the Cat Carter, was the WWE Ladies Champion at the time. Okay. They won Miss Texas, Jacqueline Moore. Miss Jackie, incredibly talented, athletic, good-looking African-American girl. And they wanted to put the belt, the championship on her. Well, she was Stacy, the Cat, very beautiful young lady, very, nice looking, whatever, but very frail. Wasn't exactly a stout girl, was athletic, whatever. And long story short, she got in the ring with Jacqueline. Not even trying to, she would have got hurt because Jacqueline was just very snug in the ring, very stiff, and would have probably blacked her eye or busted her teeth out. Not meaning to, but since Stacy didn't know how to perform to that extent in the ring, she wouldn't have been able to protect herself, and then she would have got hurt. So here I come. I was a good interim champion. So I can say I was the world champion of the WWF.
Great.
I can leave it at that.
You
don't have to say what kind.
Nope. If someone asks you, you just mumble and back away slowly.
Yeah. And how about this? And I'm not getting into any politics or what I believe or what I you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, of course. No, we're not doing that.
But whether you agree with what's going on in the world today or not, or I do, or anybody listening or watching this does, I can honestly say, without fear of repercussion or being corrected, I was the first transgender individual to win a championship. Thank you. I take a bow.
Wow. I guess that is true. If we base everything on what's going on, well, maybe however you feel, however everyone wants to feel, but maybe that's true, maybe that's not true. But either way, you are a former world champion, and no one can ever take that away from you.
It's like Mama said, it be that way sometimes.
You are a champion.
Better live and say it. So.
You are a champion. Before we go, though, I want to do a little word association. Say a couple names, and you see me, your thoughts on them. Quick story, maybe, because you've been involved with so many people that they're no longer here, but they are such a huge impact on so many people's childhoods. So first off, you mentioned him earlier, and I love him so much to death, Bobby Heenan.
Great guy. Oh, my God. Best talker. Like I said, him and Cornette, to me, the best managing and talking managers ever in the business. Heenan was sharp as attack. The Bobby Brain thing wasn't a nickname. That was a description. That was the job description. He was a smart son of a gun. Smart, friendly, nice, understood the business ins and outs, A to Z, backwards and forwards. Just super, super guy. And when I first came to work for WWE, there he was the main manager at the time. He didn't try to shun me or push me down or hold me back. He did everything he could to help me. I have nothing but complimentary things to say about him. And God rest his soul.
Of course. And one of the people who always was side by side with him, putting out the best content in the world, Gorilla Monsoon. Got any good Gorilla Monsoon stories?
Well, I love Gorilla. God bless him. As you may or may not be aware, me and Gorilla, he's gone with God now, but as you know, me and him have a bond that will never go away. You know about that, right?
I do.
Yeah. For those that don't, July 4th, 1994, Joey Morella, Gorilla's son, and I were traveling back from Ocean City, Maryland to Newark to fly home. The tour was over. I won't get into all the whys and wherefores, but we were traveling together. Joey was driving. I was asleep in the passenger seat. And evidently I wasn't the only one asleep because Joey rolled the car, crashed into a ditch in North Jersey, and was killed. And it's a miracle from the Lord Jesus Christ that I didn't join. I'm still here on this planet talking to you right now. But Gino, Gorilla, Gino got in touch with me a few days after that. and told me, I don't blame you in any way, Bruno. And I know it. It was just one of those things that happened the whole bit. We had a bond that will never, ever go away, through that. It's a shame it came in that manner, but he understood it wasn't my fault for not staying away. Whatever. It was just one of those things. Joey said, man, I can tell you're exhausted. I'll drive. I mean, I don't know what we could have done to avoid it, but believe me, if there was something I could have done to avoid it, I would have. Stay awake, not go all the way to Newark. I don't know. Hindsight is always 20/20, but yeah. So, but he was the figurehead on air, whatever, president of WWE at the time.
Yeah.
Commissioner or whatever. So when I came back to work the next week, I didn't even miss a day to work. I came right back to work. I'm not one of these guys that gets a hang down, takes 6 months off and needs counseling. I went right back to work. So they did a thing where Gorilla was, well, Harvey Wippleman, blah, blah, blah. And I said, let me tell you something, good fat son of you. We got right back into that. To me, the good story. We went right back to business,
Of course. And the final name on the list, Vince McMahon, the man, I call him the Walt Disney of professional wrestling, who has come up with everything from, the Giant Gonzalez and bringing you in with the Warlord and his strange mask, which I love so much. So much. Vince McMahon, give me a good Vince story and we'll wrap it up.
Okay, well, I'll just say this. Vince doesn't really like to be talked about very much, and I respect that too, but I'll just say this in a nutshell. He's been nothing but great to me. Nothing but great. And I can't say enough good things about him. And when people talk bad about him or say negative things, it hurts me because I know what he's done for me and my life. And I'll never forget him for that. So I'll just say, as far as I'm concerned, Vince is one of the best people I've ever dealt with, met, and been privileged enough to become friends with. And Vince called me right after the Joey wreck. This is more important to me than any position I was given, any payoff I was given, any championship I was given, any main event I was given. He called me and talked to me man to man, person to person, friend to friend after that. And that, to me, speaks volumes about his character. He's a wonderful person. And I can never, there's been people that just been good to me, and he has. And his whole family. And I'll just forever be grateful. Forever.
Well, I got to say, thank you so much for sharing so many of your passionate stories today about the past, the present, the future, because you've done so much in the wrestling business, and I am honored, I am privileged to sit here and talk to Dr. Harvey Wippleman, the manager of so many men, so many mammoths. But I got to say, thank you so much for being here on 10 Count. It's been an honor again and a privilege to sit here and hear the stories of the past. And who knows what's next for you, but all I know is living in the Hall of Fame forever, because that plaque gave it to us right off the top of this show. So I've been Steve Fall. He's Harvey Wippleman. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.